Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
I'm an Aussie now. Socceroos to call up 34-year-old Uruguayan in Bombshell World Cup ploy. 17 years ago, the Socceroos overcame Uruguay to qualify for the 2006 World Cup in one of Australian football's most memorable moments. Now, Socceroos coach Graham Arnold will make a bombshell call to cap 34-year-old Uruguayan Bruno Fornaroli as Australia's bid to qualify for the 2022 Qatar World Cup comes down to the wire. With an injury crisis rocking the Socceroos squad, Arnold's radical move will see Fornaroli, only recently an Australian citizen, provide much-needed attacking support for matches against Japan and Saudi Arabia in the coming fortnight. This is where we are, the bitter reality facing Man Utd, and the huge exodus that must happen. Watch the world's best footballers every week with beIN Sports on Kayo. Live coverage from LaLiga, Bundesliga, Ligue 1, Serie A, Carabao Cup, EFL and SPFL. New to Kayo? Try 14 Days Free Now. Fornaroli played for Uruguay as a 17-year-old at the 2003 South American U20 Championships, which previously meant that he was tied to representing that nation for life. But in 2020, governing body FIFA made a number of changes to national eligibility criteria. Crucially, it included allowing a player who represented one country's junior team while aged 20 or younger, but not a senior side, to switch allegiances to a second country. The caveat was that a player must have resided in his new country for at least 5 years. Luckily for Australia, Fornaroli arrived down under in August of 2015. Fornaroli has established himself as one of the most influential and gifted attackers in the A-League men's since joining Melbourne City that year, going on to score 81 times in 138 matches with City and Perth Glory. This season he has scored 7 in 14 games for a struggling Perth side, though failed to convert a penalty against the Central Coast Mariners in their 0-0 draw last night. He brings experience, quality, finishing ability. I don't think Bruno feels pressure, Perth coach Richard Garcia said after the match. It will be a different proposition when he's got the quality that's in the national team around him. He'll be able to find the ball in different places. I think he'll be a real threat. Bruno is always someone who is willing to put themselves on the line when it matters. He's got a great ability to hold up the ball and bring other players in the game, and that's going to be a real asset to the national team. He's always put the team before himself and he's constantly trying to push others around him. In big games that's what you want. Garcia was the lucky man to reveal the news of Fornaroli's call-up to the new Australian, and said the player was ecstatic at hearing the announcement. I found out, so I mentioned it to him. The first thing he did was smile and say, "I'm an Aussie now," Garcia said. It was a nice moment seeing him so proud to be an Australian. Australia faces Japan next Thursday in Sydney before travelling to Jeddah to face Saudi Arabia the following week. Victory in both matches would assure the Socceroos automatic qualification to the World Cup in Qatar later this year. Otherwise the Socceroos will face a play-off against the fellow third-place finisher of the second Asian qualification group, before a play-off against the fifth-placed South American qualifier. As it stands, the fifth-placed South American team is Peru, though the stunning prospect of facing Uruguay in a repeat of 2005 is still very much alive, with that nation just 1 point ahead of the Peruvians. Those two nations will face each other in the next round, with one further game to be played. Striker crisis behind Fornaroli call. Arnold's hand has been forced by a raft of crucial absences from Australia's attacking stocks. Melbourne City striker and 21-cap international Jamie Maclaren will be missing from at least the second match against Saudi Arabia. After 2 years and 3 forced postponements, Maclaren is finally set to marry partner Iva at the end of the month, though he may be available for the first match against Japan. Fellow City star Matthew Lekai, groin, is also reportedly set to miss out, while Riley McGree, groin, and Adam Taggart, recovering from knee surgery, are also likely to be absent. Meanwhile, Nikita Rukavitsaya, Australia's top scorer in overseas leagues in the past 3 years, will reportedly be unavailable for the matches due to not having had 2 COVID-19 vaccinations. The Hapoel Beersheva striker has found the net 10 times in 21 appearances this campaign, and earlier this month became the record holder for the most goals scored by a foreign player in the Israeli Super League. But the Sydney Morning Herald reports that Rukavitsaya has had just 1 COVID-19 vaccination dose. Despite having contracted the disease, he is unable to enter Australia without a medical.